Welcome to the Canadian Business Quarterly podcast, where we speak with Canada's most influential industry leaders on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all of our content, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.
Larry Pidperyhora Jr. is Penticton Toyota's general manager. His father, Larry Pidperyhora Sr., is the dealer principal who has been with the dealership nearly 30 years, making Larry Jr. a second-generation operator. He has served in many positions, starting in sales, then financial services, sales manager, and now GM. Larry Jr. prides himself on being a very hands-on operator, engaging his team to always strive to grow, develop, and carry the business forward. He credits the dealership's success to his team of loyal and dedicated staff and the relationships that have been forged with the dealership's clients and community. Larry, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So give us an overview of Penticton Toyota.
Yeah, so Penticton Toyota is, so we're a family-owned and operated dealership. My father, Larry Sr., is the dealer principal. He's been with the dealership since 1992 when we moved back to Canada. And he has kind of grown through the business in the same capacity that I have, sales and sales manager, and grown through all levels of the business. He partnered with a gentleman named Tony Wiles, who was his counterpart in parts and service, and they went through a complete buyout of a previous business partner in 2015, and now own the business together, just the two of them. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And, you know, as I said before we started the recording, I've got family that lives in the Okanagan region. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about Penticton and the city itself? Yeah,
so Penticton is in the southern part of the Okanagan Valley. So we're about 45 minutes from the U.S. border. And it is pretty well known, I think, throughout Canada and probably even internationally for being one of the most beautiful parts of Canada. We have amazing lakes, mountains, world-class skiing, wineries, just so many amazing things. There are a lot of people we find are moving to Penticton, so be it people that are retiring or selling their homes and real estate in other parts of the country, the lower mainland, and moving here. Penticton is, there's been a lot of development and even more so redevelopment. So existing subdivisions or existing blocks of homes are being torn down and redeveloped into maybe more high density or more modern type living situations. So there's a lot of growth happening, a lot of people moving to the area. They're discovering it and deciding that's where they want to be once they're done maybe their career, and just taking advantage of everything that we have to offer. So it's just it's an amazing city, and we're 4 hours from the lower mainland from Vancouver, and we have a lot to offer here in the interior.
Okay. You know, you'd mentioned how your father had started in the automotive industry at the dealership. How did you ultimately get involved?
So I got involved in the dealership after I finished business school through Okanagan College, and I worked at a smaller dealership before this, and I interviewed with the entire management team and all the partners at the time. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to come aboard, that it was going to be a good fit for everybody and myself. And so I started at the dealership in 2012 and as a salesperson. So I was a salesperson, and then I basically started to progress and learn a lot of the different aspects of the business and various departments. So going from our salesperson to becoming a finance manager to used vehicle manager, sales manager, and from there. So very important for me as I got involved in the business to learn it from the bottom up, and do it at the highest level I possibly could, progressing through the business. So kind of knowing from an early standpoint that this was going to be what I wanted to do for a career. And, very important, obviously, as a second generation to carry on the, carry the torch, so to speak, from the success that, my father's had to taking the dealership to the next stages and the next levels. And that's how I got involved with it. So, starting from the bottom up and worked my way to where I'm at now.
Okay. And Penticton Toyota is a single point store that is independently owned and operate it as a dealership. Do you want to tell us, exactly what this means?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of in today's, automotive landscape, what you see happen is a lot of dealerships are owned by massive dealer groups. Some dealer groups bigger than others. So you could have maybe a group of 6 to 10 stores, or there's some dealer groups that have more than 50 stores. So being an independently owned and operated single point means, we are the only store within the group, so to speak. So that gives us a lot more of a hands-on culture. And given the fact that, your dealer principal, is in the dealership every day, you really get that feeling of, knowing who you work for, knowing the message and the philosophy you're carrying out. And, nothing against other, big groups or anything. Big groups, it's fantastic. The corporate structure, it's amazing how they operate, and with so many moving parts. It is rarer to see. You're finding the single point store is becoming a little bit more of a rare thing these days, potentially with dealers that don't have a succession plan in place, or maybe don't want to go through, various levels of restructuring. They just opt to sell to a group. So that's, we love it. We absolutely, we can focus 100% of our efforts and energy on this location, knowing what's going on inside and out, and having a really strong finger on the pulse type of management style. And we enjoy it.
Okay. And take us through a little bit about the Toyota brand itself.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So the brand is incredible. Obviously a lot of Toyota owners are lifetime, repeat, they're Toyota owners for life. And, I love when, when I talk to a customer in our showroom, or if I'm talking to somebody I've met for the first time, and you ask them if they've ever owned a Toyota, and, the stories come out, but what their first Toyota was, or what they did with their first Toyota. So we're known for our reliability, dependability, quality, resale value. But we also are finding, Toyota is just being so innovative as a company, coming out with, latest technology for safety features, for, alternate powertrains, fuel efficiency, environmentally, friendly, building practices. It's a lot of customers we're finding, I've seen more first-time Toyota buyers in the last, 3 years than I ever had before that. So a lot of people are starting to open up to the brand, particularly, through the avenue of hybrid and plug-in hybrid. People we're seeing those people trading in off other makes and really, understanding what Toyota is all about. So it's the logo itself. It's one of the most recognized, brand worldwide. It comes with a lot of respect, and we're very proud to be able to represent that brand and work with Toyota as a dealer.
Okay. And tell me about growing the business, through the dealership over the years. And you've already alluded to this now, and, where you think and see the Toyota difference being.
Yeah, absolutely. So, our dealership, in the past, our staff alone has increased over 40% in the last 8 years. So, we've grown. We under rent. One of the biggest things in our business is parts and service. So, it's not just when we sell the vehicle, it's how we look after the customer after the sale. And where we found, we needed more capacity was in our service department. So in 2017, we underwent a massive renovation, doubled the size of our service facility, added more technology, more abilities to look after our guests, our service guests. So we can, it's not a matter of how many cars we can sell, because the sales transaction is one time. It's how well can we service that customer throughout their ownership cycle. So we underwent a massive renovation there. Through certainly some very interesting forces have acted upon us that are, I don't want to know if they're COVID related or not, but certainly supply and demand. People wanted to buy our product. The demand is super high. We've seen just incredible increases in volumes across a lot of different series of our models that we offer. And pre-owned vehicles, the same thing. We're actually currently under renovation or under construction of a brand new used car facility right next door. So we're growing our pre-owned operations. We've grown our parts and service operations. With obviously increased volume, we've hired more sales staff, more sales managers, more accounting staff. We've created a lot of jobs, and the growth is great. And we honestly, we're super confident in the future that it's going to be sustainable to keep growing and keep adapting to the business as it changes. So I think the big thing is, we want to look after our existing customers, the people that have purchased from us and serviced with us, and get a repeat sale out of it. And then in addition to that, to grow our business, there are, we want to go after those new Toyota owners or those other off-make owners, and get them, hopefully earn their business as a customer, get them to experience the brand, buy into the product, and hopefully add them to our customer portfolio base as well.
Okay. And what are the plans for the future in the dealership?
Yeah, so definitely the future of the dealership would be, I guess, internally from a structure point of view. My dad is very much day-to-day involved. I certainly, he's deserved a few more days off a week, and the whole plan would be to start getting him to enjoy some, hopefully if things can open up, do some traveling, and him and my mom do some more things there. So the plan would be, again, for me to sort of take over as the successor for the dealership. As I mentioned earlier, we are building a pre-owned facility next door, about 6,000 square feet on an additional acre of land that is going to house all of our pre-owned vehicle operations and our detailing, reconditioning of used vehicles in that building. So what that'll do is, that the future plans from there, that'll allow us to have a more service capacity to go after more service customers and utilize the property that we're on now to focus on just new. So the future with that, again, is just going to be, hiring more people, bringing on more staff, adjusting our processes and our company structure to accommodate these changes. And, in addition from there, just really stay on top of everything Toyota is doing and just waiting for the new product cycles to come out. We want to continue and to get even more ingrained in our community just become, just continue to be good corporate citizens and do everything we can to, keep the business sustainable and have some fun.
Okay. We're starting to wind down our chat today. Are there, a lot of people like myself with the impacts of things like COVID, we're a little bit surprised at kind of what's happening behind the scenes. What are the, industry issues that are taking place, in the automotive industry at the moment?
At the moment, I think the big one right now would definitely be the not only there would be the semiconductor shortage. So Toyota, again, being a very, very, good brand, there was a lot of forethought there to protect their production against these kind of issues. But certainly the automotive industry right now across North America, I know is inventory shortage. So when new vehicles are just not able to be built due to a parts supply issue, and coupled with the fact that demand is very strong, you just have a sales velocity that is just absolutely, unprecedented. What we're selling as a percentage of what's available to us is just absolutely, it's just bizarre. When you have a scarcity of new vehicles, well, now you're not taking in as many trade-ins, and therefore we're now seeing the same thing happen with the pre-owned vehicle market. So now the pre-owned vehicle market the values have gone up, on certain, between cars and SUVs and trucks, anywhere from 20 to 25% or more year over year. So there's a massive, change in the valuation of these vehicles. And dealers are having to adapt to that because they need to find ways to keep their inventories, at healthy enough levels that they're able to still meet their sales objectives. So adapt, in the kind of the other thing too is just the way consumers have changed their buying habits through COVID. They think maybe they realize there's a better way and they don't have to come to the dealership, and they want to do as much of the process online or contactless or at their own pace or at their own leisure. So we've adjusted, and a lot of dealers are adjusting to different buying behaviors. And, and then, in the future, it's as we, I think it's going to be, the ever moving shift towards alternate powertrains, be it electric vehicle, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or in Toyota's case, hydrogen is what they're really looking at the future. So I mean, what we see happening today is certainly absolutely, we've never seen anything like it. There's all kinds of speculation and talk about, when things might correct, when will inventory catch up to, when will production catch up to demand, when will used vehicles adjust in prices. So at the end of the day, all we can really do is, you got to take it day by day and kind of keep your eyes open for what's going to happen in the future. But there's a lot of, a lot of dealers are having, some good times, but some of them, obviously, there's a lot of real struggles because of inventory availability.
Fair enough. And before we finish today, Larry, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss or address?
No, I think, I really appreciate the chance to speak with you. And, I think the automotive industry, it's a very, very important and integral industry across, our nation and every, the amount of direct jobs or indirect jobs that are affected or associated or connected with the automotive industry are huge. So I do appreciate getting the chance to talk and maybe share some feedback on the business with people that are listening and just so they can understand what's going on.
Excellent. Well, Larry, thanks very much for your time today.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
This has been a production of the Canadian Business Quarterly, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Canadian Business Quarterly, including our publications, newsletters, and podcasts by visiting www.thecbq.ca and clicking on subscribe.